His goal line. Bobcats looking for the first touch here tonight. The lefty drills it. It scoots through the back of the end zone for a touchback. And so here comes this offense led by Brad Jackson. They have scored 95 points in 2 weeks.
One of the most electrifying offenses in the country, and Brad Jackson, the man at the helm, named a captain as a redshirt freshman in his first season at the helm for this group, says so much about what G.J. Kinney and this entire team think he's capable of under center.
It's a captain stash if I've ever seen one. He's been sharp through the early going. Settled in after a first quarter pick last week to beat UTSA. 286 through the air, a passing touchdown, and 2 rushing scores. He is a dynamic +1 in this running game. First snap belongs to the Bobcats. They run it over the right side, and Lincoln Perry, a 24-year-old senior, is also a captain. He grabs 6.
Been their heartbeat on the ground, 5 straight games with a rushing touchdown. They want to get him going early.
Know how to with some tempo through the left side. First down as he climbs above the 40. 5 straight games with a rushing touchdown for Lincoln dating back to last season. He's been a force.
Puts his foot in the ground, gets north and south in a hurry.
Now they spit it out, and it's at the cleats of Bo Sparks. You heard pregame, he leads all of college football with 5 receiving touchdowns, also top 10 in yardage.
And you saw right there, you're used to seeing him streak down the field for some of those go balls, but you want to set up the whole 53 1/3 on offense. Getting those balls out to the perimeter helps keep those box counts light in the middle, so you get more easy rushing yards like they got the first 2 plays.
Saw G.J. Kinney there, 2 young, offensive-minded, dynamic head coaches. 4-man rush, quick release, that's wide of the mark. 3rd down and long upcoming as he misses Sparks again.
Great coverage on the outside by the back end of this Arizona State defense. Javen Robinson, the closest defender there, just forcing a tight throw, blanketing in coverage. And now with 3rd and 10, ASU gets their first chance on defense. Brian Ward and company to pin their ears back and rush the quarterback.
We'll mention they're without X Alford, their senior free safety tonight. Boogie Wilson starting in the back end in his place. 3rd in the full chains on the first possession for Brad Jackson. And the noise of the Inferno coming after him from his right and twisted down for a sack. Sun Devils give up a first down, but that's it. They're off the grass. Texas State will punt.
Keep your eyes on Albert Smith right here, lined up over the right tackle. Just a clean win. You've got 3 bodies to the other side, so a lot of eyes going one way on the offensive line, getting a great one-on-one matchup. And a great sack to start the night for the Arizona State defense.
Freshman defensive end gets his first. A great start for this Ward defense. David Nunez is the punter. And a fair catch reeled in at the 20. We'll see a lot of Raleek Brown. 3 in maroon there. No Tyson Brown tonight. Yes, Raleek Brown. 45 yards on that punt. And I thought offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo had the line of the week with respect to what do you want to see from Sam Leavitt in game 3. He said Sam needs to try softer, smile, have fun again.
It's the exact thing you want for a quarterback whose game feels so loose. He's so fluid, such an easy passer, and we know a great runner, leading FBS quarterbacks with 127 scramble yards, but they want to see him take what's there and get the ball to these running backs early and often.
Behind the best offensive line that Kenny Dillingham has had in his 3 seasons. At the mesh point, it's Brown. Scooting through the 2nd level and knocked out above the 40-yard line. Ryan Nolan sent him to the sideline. 22, maybe a 23-yard run to begin the game for ASU.
Great look right here on the left side. Just watch an easy crease for him. Go ahead and play on this one. You're going to see him get loose in a hurry. Just an easy inside zone run, patient and gets through the hole. That's where they found success last week.
Now he winds it back and only a yard. How much does the threat of Leavitt, one of the best scramblers and runners in college football, help control the backside of that play?
There's no question. One of the most important factors you can have in any offense now in modern football is a quarterback who is a plus runner for you. And Sam, one of the most dangerous in the sport. So it holds that backside linebacker, backside end, and makes life for your big boys up front much easier.
Big 2nd down and 9 here. ASU laser focused on getting to 3rd and manageable. Off the play fake. QB takes off. A stiff arm on the edge. Barreling down into Texas State territory. A first down scamper for Sam Leavitt, 14 on the turf.
Just a great job on here, keeping the play alive, seeing an opportunity. And like you said, Sam Leavitt, one of the better athletes on the field at this position. He sees a one-on-one matchup in space, and he sees dinner. He thinks he's going to go out there and be the one to make a miss.
Made Bobby Crosby whiff in space. So first possession for Arizona State. Already in plus territory. Jump cut to the left, Raleek Brown. Well, the burst is back for Raleek. I think that's the biggest thing. Healthy and confident is the most encouraging sign for him and for this running game.
Yeah, this running game that if, they're without Tyson Brown tonight, Raleek and Kanye give you that sort of thunder and lightning tandem. Kanye Udo, 6'1", 220, big, powerful back. And Raleek, that ability to plant your foot in the ground and get to the edge when it shortens on the backside, invaluable.
All right, here is the downhill option as they put two tight ends in formation. A dozen on the play clock as Leavitt makes an adjustment. Hands off, left side, net in the hole. But that forward lean to finish downhill. And these are the situations that Kenny Dillingham has been striving for. Shot territory, third and manageable, could be in 4-down mode.
Completely. And this is what helps alleviate their issue this year. We mentioned before, 126th in FBS football on third down conversion percentage. A lot easier when you're looking at third and short like you got here.
Yeah, that's a third down stat, but it has everything to do with first and second down, and they've been able to stay on schedule here. Middle run, and a muddy one. Udo staying on his feet, but no further than the line of scrimmage. Did that call give you an indication of what Dillingham's going to do on fourth down?
I think so, and the big personnel you see coming in here right now, as they said, Cameron Harpold, our other tight end, onto the field to get big here. You had fourth down in mind, that communication when you're calling plays, so that everyone involved, from the coach to the play caller to your quarterback, understand what the down and distance is. This is where you expect, again, let Sam Leavitt's legs be a weapon the defense has to account for.
Only 6 programs have more fourth down conversions since Kenny Dillingham took over. They set up the screen, and Brown could not pluck it. ASU fails on fourth down, and they give it back to Texas State. So a punt for the visitors and a failure on fourth down for the homestanding Arizona State Sun Devils. As a tight goal, diminutive receivers and hulking offensive linemen.
Let me tell you what, I'm a former college offensive lineman. I was down on the field walking around near these guys pregame, and I felt like an absolute pipsqueak. This is a gigantic group that when you spread the field and give them those light box looks, they get hungry and want to eat.
Jalen Jenkins, the new back for Brad Jackson as they begin their second possession. Swing it out to him. Cuts it up the numbers. Oh, he got destroyed at the 40. Boogie Wilson getting the start and making his presence felt.
No Xavier Alford, no problem, says Boogie Wilson. That's how you track and hit.
No flinch mentality from the Bobcats. They go right back to the ground, and there's stone, no gain. Jordan Crooks showing up. The senior linebacker gives his defense a chance to get off the grass again.
This linebacker group can really fly around. That time, him just tracking off the backside, hawking down that run. Great job holding at the point of attack. Third and medium now, near midfield. An interesting area here to try and find Bo Sparks and get a shot for this team.
He's the lowest, the bottom of your screen. Jackson looking away from him, pressure in his face, ball's on the deck. Scooped up by an offensive lineman. Jacob Kangaika, disruptive in the backfield. It's a 3 and out for this Arizona State defense, and a loss of 17 before the punt.
All right, Brian Ward's crew heard me hyping up the Texas State size, and so the big fella, Jacob Rich Kangaika, getting his hands up, staying in front of the quarterback, who's a threat to run himself. Brad Jackson, when he gets in the open field, can make a guy miss, but getting him off balance and backing them up for a disadvantaged special teams play.
Nunez been a mainstay on this roster. Sends it into the night sky. Another fair catch signaled for and taken by Brown. Former walk-on David Nunez now on scholarship in San Marcos. Arizona State gets a new possession when we come back.
CFP season, but G.J. Kinney and the job that he's done, especially on offense at Texas State since he's come over here, remarkable.
Sam Leavitt back at the switch. They motion out of the pistol. Play fake. Going vertical. Tyson the target. Oh, a contested catch through 2. One of the best in college football gets the night started in Tempe.
Watch this man go up in traffic, 2 defenders in his way. It doesn't matter. The circus catches, the route running. You're looking at what I believe is the best wide receiver in college football, and he just shows you yet another reason why.
Took a hit from Ryan Nolan, still grabbed 37, a flag down on this run. I will say up front, the Bobcats sent an early message bowing up in their own territory and repelling the run.
Illegal formation. More than 4 players, four players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
Scott Broadway, a referee. This was the issue in week 1 against Northern Arizona. Getting derailed by self-inflicted mistakes, the penalties piled up.
Yep, coming off a shot play like that where your offense gets plus 50, you don't want these moments cropping up here, putting you in bad down distances. And once again, we talk about the risk. First and second downs make the third downs that have been an issue for Arizona State all season.
Udo in the backfield, flanking his quarterback. Mateer's the tight end. And again, nothing doing on the ground. Traylon Payne, a captain at the linebacker level, who the Bobcats say has been phenomenal through the first month. Showing up, -2.
East-west runs on the last couple of plays from Arizona State. Their bread and butter, the 17-play drive for the go-ahead score last week against Mississippi State. Duo getting downhill, big double teams. I think that's what you need to keep majoring in after the success from last week.
3-by-1 here. Second and long. Good protection, but it breaks down. Leavitt gets out the side door. He takes off. So back in field goal range at the 30-yard line. A scamper for 9. And now the play sheet a little bit more open for third down.
Just a great job here stepping up in the pocket. The rush lane discipline by Texas State, keeping him contained, but then all of a sudden you get a little too far upfield and you get that little seam, and Sam Leavitt going to go out there exploit it. Again, leads all FBS quarterbacks coming into this game with 127 scramble yards.
At the 7-minute mark here, first quarter. Chance for the Sun Devils to get the first points of week 3. Drop back game. Leavitt hats the football. Extends the play. He's off schedule now. Creating. Oh, and he sold it. Cameron Harpole was all alone. It's fourth down.
Tough to thread those balls in over the top. Harpole had been out front initially. You see him at the side of your screen right here. As Sam Leavitt starts going and buying time, he's turned and got his eyes back on the quarterback. He sees Sam Leavitt break contain. He thinks initially, oh, maybe he's going to run. I need to block. Tries to escape late and just can't quite get the touch on that pass.
So it's a 48-yard attempt for Gomez, who's been a huge solve for this program. Arizona State was auditioning the student body for this role last year. Officially 47 for the lefty. Never in doubt. The first 3 belong to ASU. Jordan Tyson with the chunk play to set the Sun Devils up for a field goal lead. 12 team to do so. Tonight looking to extend that home winning streak to 8 games. We kicked off just shy of 90 degrees. Coy Wire, Mike Golick Jr., JB Long with you tonight. The 2-0 Texas State Bobcats in their final year as Sun Belt members. Picked as one of the favorites in their division. Moving to the Pac-12 next season. Gomez just hit a 47-yard field goal for the lead, and the lefty swipes one through the back of the end zone as we go down to Coy.
Yeah, I talked to Coach G.J. Kenny ahead of this game. He said we have to run the football, have to sustain drives, keep the defense off the field. Well, that ASU defense swarming so far. -7 yards for the Bobcats rushing. We'll see if they can get it kick-started here now.
You know, in his own words this week, he told us, I have a wife and 3 kids. Other than that, I recruit, I evaluate, and I try to scheme up touchdowns. I don't fish, I don't golf, and most of my staff and my players are like that too.
It sets the tone from the top down, right? Your whole organization takes their cues from him, and those are incredible cues to take.
Senior tailback Lincoln Perry flanking Brad Jackson as they begin a new drive. Got to have arm strength to play in this offense with those wide splits to get it all the way to Chris Dawn Jr. for a yard or 2.
I tell you what, Brad Jackson has got it in droves. You look back at that big win over UTSA, and there were some shots down the field where his feet aren't set. It's a muddy pocket, and he still finds a way to push it.
Claps for the snap. Boy, flat-footed there, able to find his target for first down yardage. Blake Sims, part of a deep and talented tight end room. They'll play 4 of them. It's a gain of 10. Blake Smith moves the sticks. Now they find Sparks at the 40 and to the 45. 9 on first down. Last year he was wide receiver 5 for this program as a sophomore, but he still had 5 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown against these Sun Devils. Working quickly now, in some rhythm. Finding a crease on that left side and nearly midfield. 4 more for Perry. Miles Rouser collects the tackle.
This feels like rush hour. Who kicked me? The ball's going every direction. They're running it up the middle. If you're a defense, you don't have anywhere to cue in right now. ASU is playing fast and physical, and now they've got to think a little more.
Play fake. Can't find a target. Jackson rolling. And you see some of the wheels. Did you see Pete Thamel said that Kenny told him that Brad Jackson's like his own personal Tim Tebow?
And high praise, as always. I think we've learned going into this season. Putting a lot of hype on quarterbacks that have not yet accomplished as much may always be something we want to guard against, but you can see the confidence he plays with. And in the open field as a runner now, he turned it down there. Boogie Wilson and that hit we saw the drive prior, I think loomed large as he took the way out of bounds, and rightly so. But you get him in the open field, he's like Leavitt, he can make a miss.
New offensive coordinator Landon Keppel, replacing Mac Leftwich, who's dealing at Texas Tech now. Oh, a big hit from that safety level with flags everywhere. Chris Don Jr. hangs on, but we got a lot to deal with here.
Yeah, they caught a D lineman not getting off the field in time, but now it looks like Boogie Wilson took the worst end of that hit.
And if you're just joining us, Alford banged up and unable to go tonight, and so he's stepping into that starting role in his first season here at Arizona State after a couple in Pullman. Behind him, you're talking about Jack Bowell, perhaps, a sophomore from Peoria, Arizona. He's a former scout team MVP.
Yeah, certainly not where you want to be at this important juncture.
The result of the play is a completed pass. There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal substitution. Defense, more than 11 players on the field at the snap. Offside, defense in the neutral zone at the snap. Both penalties will be declined. First down.
And they'll take the gain of a dozen.
And that's... So you see the hit right here. Lowers his shoulder, hits with the side of his helmet. Can see what you hit. Hopefully just in stinger territory. Sometimes with those compression hits around the head and neck for a defender, you can get that burning sensation that goes down your arm. It feels really painful and then subsides quickly.
As you were talking us through that injury, I was watching the nose of the football. I think there's a good chance that's incomplete and the replay official may step in. Remember, there are 2 penalties that they declined. So it's a gain of 12, but if replay does see that as an incompletion, they could always take one of those penalties.
Great call, JB.
The previous play is under video review.
So there's the ball jarred loose, hitting the ground. Yep, that'll be an easy one. Hopefully can expedite that as the ball clearly out and hitting the ground. Great job separating man from ball by Boogie Wilson. You hope he's okay, because we've seen a couple of big crunching hits from him have really set the tone for a defense, JB, that we know gave up some big plays last week, but felt like they played well overall outside of those moments. And they're playing with the kind of confidence that shows you they're not bothered by that result.
Again, ruled a catch on the field. So is there clear and obvious evidence that that ball hit the fabulous Bermuda turf, the best in all of college football?
I feel like you see it move enough down at the ground there to say pretty clearly that that's incomplete.
But back to your point about the safety level, I mean, down Alford tonight, he was in street clothes. Now Boogie's shaken up. And it's poignant because this is a team that can attack you vertically. And when you start Big 12 play next week with Baylor, it's only going to become more pronounced.
I was going to say, Sawyer Robertson and the job that he's done spreading the ball around this year. As we get a good look at it right there. A lot of great angles. Shout out to our camera crew here. So the ball loose, moving around, and then hits the ground again. The ball can hit the ground if you've got possession, and it can even move slightly provided you're in control. But in this case, the ball loose, then goes to the ground, then you see control. Should be incomplete.
After video review, it's an incomplete pass. The ball hit the ground prior to having firm control of the ball. The offside defense will be enforced. 5-yard penalty will be second down.
So Don denied the catch. He's coming off his second career 100-yard performance. Both of those coincidentally came against UTSA. He was also good last year against the Sun Devils with a 5-yard touchdown. He and Bo Sparks make this go.
They do, and it's a great point about that UTSA game from last week, because we talked about the physical toll for ASU. For UTSA, that's a physical, emotional game that matters a lot to them in the state of Texas. And so coming off that right now, on the road, playing in a hot night, can you still muster that same energy for all 4 quarters of this game?
Well, I know that Kenny learned a lot about his freshman quarterback. Replacing former Sun Belt Player of the Year Jordan McLeod, going on the road, taking an early hit, throwing an early interception, and still navigating his team to victory. I believe Boogie Wilson was trying to go back in.
Yep.
Because of that replay stoppage, but they pulled him off for at least one play. Good that he wants to be back in there. Drilling for a first down run to the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 5, and Texas State picks up right where they left off. Torrance Burgess, the senior tailback, in the arms of Jordan Crook with the tackle.
And it looks like Montana Warren went at the safety spot in for Boogie Wilson.
Burgess again over the right side. Now some traction in the ground game. 6 more. Keith Abney, junior defensive back, with the tackle at the secondary for ASU. They got on the board with a long field goal. Now Texas State looking to answer. Direct snap. Burgess has nowhere to go, stuck in traffic, and tripped up by the shoelaces. Keyshawn Elliott, who had a career-high 12 tackles last season against this Texas State program, sets up 3rd and 5 at the 4-minute mark.
I'll tell you what, a guy they're happy to have back out there looked like big Justin Watley in the middle, able to hold up and brace at the point of attack.
Back from a 1-game injury absence, giving ASU more depth up front. Physical defensive end for those rundowns. They motion to empty for Brad Jackson. And a stoppage. Timeout on defense before 3rd and 5.
Timeout. Arizona State, their first. 30-second timeout.
Now, Kenny Dillingham told us yesterday his defense can't get bored giving up yards and first down. This is a top 10 offense they're facing in terms of creating explosive plays. There have only been 6 possessions coming into tonight where Kenny's group has not scored. 5 of those lacked an explosive. So he's like, listen, we're not here to worry about yardage or first downs. Points are what matter. Bend but don't break.
And that's a lot easier to coach coming off the game last week, where explosives were the flavor of the day against Mississippi State, where you had to play a little bit off, play a little softer because of the speed that Mississippi State on the outside in the wide receiver room. And so even if the 40 time isn't exactly the same, the goal and the method still is for the Texas State offense. And so keeping that lid on the defense and then earning the opportunities to play fast and aggressive when you've got those long downs and distances.
Well, especially when you have Boogie Wilson playing top down.
Woo, let me tell you what, right from the first jump, you heard the crunch of this hit going to the sideline. Lays another one down later to draw the ball loose from Chris Dawn. We saw the quarterback turn down work. Brad Jackson going towards the sideline. His presence felt early.
Fringe field goal area. They'll run it on 3rd and medium, and Lincoln Perry picks it up. His head coach says he's a stud. He deserves to get more love.
And this is the benefit of that communication. Clearly 4-down territory. See if you can pop a run, and now you can work tempo.
Screen game with Bo Sparks. He hits the red zone. He was a man on a mission this offseason, according to his staff. You literally had to tell him to stop and go away because he was just doing too much work in the facility. A long 7 on first down, leaves 2nd down and 3. And put it in his belly, and he's tripped up. That defensive front getting vertical. We were told that Prince Dorba was due for a huge game. First chance to call his name.
Great job at the point of attack, and it's incumbent on the defensive line for Arizona State. That's been leaders already for them this year, right? 5 quarterback hits, second in the Big 12, 22 hurries, tied for second in the Big 12. They're used to resetting the line of scrimmage and living in opposing backfields.
Perry the motion man. They're 3-by-2 at the trips end of the boundary for Brad Jackson. He needs 4. Handles a high snap. Lets it go. Right pylon. It is incomplete. Chris Don the target, and a matchup of ones. Keith Abney wins this round. 4th down, the offense not giving way for Kinney.
You see right here, the linebacker is going to run to the outside with the running back, so you know you've got man-to-man coverage. Arizona State brings defenders up near the line of scrimmage. You end up rushing 5 defenders. You add the linebacker over here, and so the quarterback's got to find his best one-on-one matchup. Just a great job of staying in phase by Abney on defense.
The Bobcats lost Mason Shipley to Texas right after spring ball, so this is Tyler Robles from 39, and we're tied. A couple of high-powered offenses linking up in week 3, but with 2:16 remaining, a field goal each.
And a great job just playing through the hands of Chris Don did Keith Abney. It's a veteran player. His eyes up on the hands, his back is turned, so you are at risk potentially if that ball's underthrown and Don's able to put his foot in the ground and come back. But a veteran player understanding, I'm going to wait for the hands of the wide receiver, play my hands up and make a play.
Yeah, I'm sure he's done that 100 times head-to-head against Jordan Tyson. Are you a believer in that iron sharpening iron through the offseason program?
No question. Anytime you've got to lock horns with a guy that's going to hear his name called very early in the upcoming draft in Jordan Tyson, it makes you that much more focused every single day. You can't come out and have an off day, have a slow start, not have juice in practice, or else you'll get embarrassed there, and that trickles over onto Saturdays. I can tell you that, JB, as someone that used to have to face Stephon Tuitt in practice on the Notre Dame defensive line on Thursdays when we do 2-minute drill. You didn't want to come in on Friday morning and have to face the rest of your teammates and coaches in that film session when the eye in the sky don't lie and your guy's the one sacking the quarterback. So I'm sure it's the same in this defensive back room.
Michael James, the kickoff specialist for Texas State. Let's see if Raleek Brown gets a chance in the return game for the Sun Devils. Extends the arms. It'll be a touchback. Leavitt so far in your eyes, Mike? What do you think of his possessions thus far?
Taking what's there. His first instinct has still been to take off and run when he sees open space and yardage. And I know the coaching staff maybe wants that to be more of a break glass in case of emergency. But I also don't think you want to take away his stinger. I heard Dan Orlovsky, former quarterback and teammate of mine at ESPN, say that all the time. You want quarterbacks to do what makes them special. But you also got to spread the wealth. Last week, half the targets went to one man in Jordan Tyson. And Shimon Mateer put in some work as a blocker last week. You're going to see the big tight end, number 7, over here on the right side of the formation. You need to pay him off like a big man running the floor in basketball and get him a couple of touches.
Are you kidding me? Are you in the headset? The 30 dips his shoulder and spilled at the 35. Looks like he's got 9.5. A prescient call for my broadcast partner.
And an easy pitch and catch for your quarterback. A great opportunity for Shimon Mateer to get into the flow of the game early, and now the defense has to account for more. The job he did blocking last week makes him a threat in both phases, and that's much more difficult to defend.
A ton of NFL scouts here and around ASU football, but the head coach says not enough of them are paying attention to Mateer. All right, this is his drive. Steps through one tackle and is stopped at the 45. 6'4", 255, and a senior, Shimon Mateer.
And you're going to see Mateer. I want you to watch the block from his wide receiver, Jaron Hamilton, on the outside, working in front of him. You see him come across the screen right there, erasing the defender for Texas State.
Now, Jalen Moss, the starter in the slot, still banged up, was also sick this week, so a little depleted in the receiving core. Why not lean into that 12 personnel identity? The ball was low, could have been caught at the 40-yard line. Malik McClain has played so much better than his stats so far, and that's another illustration of he just can't catch a break.
Yep, no receptions on 4 targets last week. The former FSU newcomer of the year back at Coach Dillingham's old stomping grounds, and trying to take advantage of the eyes that you had bought up. They'd run the same read option play with Shimon Mateer in the flat the last 3 plays.
Just over a minute to go. Second down. Screen set up. Wow, if that block hits, he's taking that one to Mill Ave. They have to settle for the 49, a gain of 6. Mateer again.
And Ryan Nolan on the play. One of my favorite players to watch in the lead up to this game. Their captain at safety. Coach Kenny said he's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest guy in the world. But you see him on the back end right here. Eyes in the backfield. Sees the running back leaking out and splits the offensive lineman in the open field for the tackle. He's just a football player. That's what G.J. Kinney said, and that's the best compliment you can get as a player.
That saved him 30 yards, if not 6 points right there. 30 seconds to go. It's third down. There goes the quarterback. He's close. At least gives Kenny Dillingham reason to go for it on fourth down, presumably at the start of the second quarter. Michael Bodwin with the stop defensively for the Bobcats.
Yep, get up to the line here and see if you can get an easy one drawing him off sides and take it down to the quarter.
Leavitt 4 of 7 for 62 passing. Has also rushed for 26 yards. And after one, a field goal apiece between the Bobcats. Another fourth down opportunity across midfield. Leavitt will take it himself. Who needs a tush push?
You know, if the defense isn't going to cover up the center, you might as well take the free yards that are there. You got that gap in between, and Ben Coleman, big shoes to fill. The honorable mention all Big 12 teamer last year at guard, slides into center and ushers his quarterback to the first down.
Out of the pistol. They'll run it downhill below the 40-yard line. We've seen a mix of Raleek Brown and Kanye Udo without Tyson Brown tonight. 4 there for the junior. His offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo said this week that Kanye's downhill disposition dictates the manner of the game. I love the alliteration.
That was beautiful, eloquent. As you see right here, studying up the next call. The pistol been good to them, gives you a lot of options for the play action game as well.
It gives again at the mesh point, staying patient with their running game. Getting to third down and manageable. Like, this may feel conservative, but these are the downs and distances that they want to be living in.
Yeah, that's the don't go broke, taking a profit mentality. And they saw how that can pay off. Their identity was on the ground when they had the chance to win on the road last week. I love them bringing that back home and staying disciplined in their approach.
They've hit and missed on fourth down, but they're 0 for 3 on third so far. It's been dismal so far for the Sun Devils. That has to feel good. Kanye Udo refreshes the downs with 6.
Watch the block by Kyle Scott at right guard. Great timing on the double team. He's going to work and come off onto the linebacker here. And Udo slips in right behind him for a great gain.
Scott, a returning starter at right guard, his 3rd season in this program. 6'5", 330. Raleek Brown takes his turn. Off play action. Leavitt's playing Frogger back there. He found Tyson. Airborne. Got it. Outrageous.
What a throw. What a catch. What a hurdle. Listen, I know we said maybe you want to spread the ball more around after last week where half the targets went to one player. But when he can do that, you can see why that's a tantalizing option on the menu for Sam Leavitt.
The Bolitnikoff committee has entered the chat.
Wow. Just an unbelievable play. And they're taking a look to probably see if that foot stayed in bounds, tight roping along the sideline.
Thought we had the green light, in which case the score would stand, but not quite. Gomez waiting for the try. 30 yards, Jordan Tyson. His 4th receiving score in 3 weeks.
Got a special place in his heart for Texas State as well. 6 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown.
Is under video review for touchdown.
As he tries to match that, he'll have to go and beat the review here first as we get our first look at it. The throw by Sam Leavitt, absurd in its own right, turning back in the air. And then let's see if these feet stay in bounds on the hurdle. In, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Clean, easy. This shouldn't take any time. That is the best wide receiver in college football.
We've heard so much about the influence of Hines Ward, right? Teaching what it takes to succeed here and at the next level. I'm guessing Hines would even tell you, for all of his accolades, he may not have been able to pull that one off.
That is air reserved for very few. And JB, you think about all of the attention this team got down the home stretch of last season. It happened without Jordan Tyson. His injury before their run through the Big 12 title, their all-time great game against Texas in the college football playoff, where Cam Scadaboo was the name that everyone got to know. This year, Jordan Tyson, as you see plenty of green grass between that pink cleat and the white sideline, plenty of people are going to have time to get to know Jordan Tyson this season in some pivotal moments for Arizona State as they get ready for Big 12 play.
If this stands, it's
After
11.
video review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
There you go, 11 straight games with 60-plus receiving yards, the longest streak in the nation. Tyson celebrates the first touchdown of Game 3.
JB, when you get all of that in addition to what I think is without question the best route runner we have in the sport right now, that ability to go up at high point we saw earlier, to make the run after catch plays, there's nothing he can't do.
Long wait for the Gomez try. And a lefty stripes another right down the fairway. The Big 12 receiving leader from the preseason Player of the Year. Even after a video review, I could sure use a few more replays. How about you?
I tell you what, the catch and the run after was remarkable, but let's watch Sam Leavitt right here and what he does on this throw. The midair contortion from one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. Immediate pressure, steps up and under, and then midair turns back to just flick it over. We saw him airball one a little earlier on a similar play. This time, dials it in just right and gives his all-world receiver a chance to be great.
Marcus Arroyo told us this week that Tyson's been focused on taking the next step by doing the dark hour stuff, the lonely, quiet work, and maturity has been the word that so many of his coaches have praised coming back for this season. There have been no chances for Texas State return so far. The first touchdown on the board, it belongs to Arizona State, and now Brad Jackson will look to answer.
And we've seen a little bit of everything but the deep ball for this Texas State offense, right? They set it up with the run in the beginning, plenty of Lincoln Perry out of the backfield. We've seen the easy access throws, right? The little wide receiver screens, dinking and dunking to try and spread out this Arizona State defense, get the safety's eyes down near the line of scrimmage. Now we got to see him turn Bo Sparks loose to try and get him behind this group.
Redshirt freshman from San Antonio on the road here at Arizona State. 5 of 8 for 33 yards so far. Begins on the ground with a Jalen Jenkins dash to the 30. What I love about Brad Jackson and his story is in the era of the transfer portal everything, but especially quarterback, they brought in challengers and he just beat them. They let him know they were going to bring in as many great quarterbacks as they could to compete, and they brought in 3, and he's their guy.
And TJ said once we got him into camp, we saw him throw it for the first time. We knew we had a special player. And you're right, that response, we hear so much negative energy directed toward players who make the decision to transfer, and people use it as indictment of their competitive nature. I think that's foolish, and I think that's misguided. But I also think when you've got an example of a guy that welcomes that challenge and thrives in the face of it, you do want to make it an example.
A team that thrives on chunk plays. So far, ASU has not surrendered a gain of more than 10 yards. Here's one that could happen in a hurry. Knocked out. A fumble recovered by Miles Rouser. Now on the return, Rouser still on his feet. Shedding Bobcats to the 27-yard line. The sure-handed Bo Sparks looking for yards after catch. Fumbles.
A great play by the defense, JB. We'll get a look and see, did Sparks have time to turn up and make a football move before that ball came out? The ruling on the field is a fumble, and so we need to see indisputable video evidence right here So at the top of the route, catches, turns upfield, takes a couple of steps. That sure looks like a catch and a fumble.
And the second dazzling play that Abney has made in this opening half in the ASU secondary.
That veteran leadership from a group that last week with Abney, Javen Robinson, the tough time they had with some of the big plays, the response we've seen so far from how fast and physical they've been playing has been incredible.
We asked Kenny Dillingham yesterday, kind of complete the sentence. You'll know your defense is ready for Big 12 play if. And he says, we need to get some takeaways. Our ones don't have a takeaway yet this season. Now they do, their first fumble recovery of the year. And they're teed up at the 25. Play fake. Deep drop for Leavitt. Invites the rush. Heaves it from his heels out of bounds. Brown was the nearest Sun Devil.
And JB, that's a great call. That was one of the biggest differences year over year for Arizona State last year to the year prior, right? One of the worst teams taking the football away in 2023, minus 11 in the turnover margin, plus 14 last year. Great at taking the ball away and taking care of it on offense.
Hart pulls the tight end there, attached right. Leavitt Brown in the backfield with his quarterback. Leavitt hitched. Now he's in trouble. Oh my goodness. He's got a caravan. 20, 10, and out of bounds with first and goal. A Sam Leavitt showcase in Tempe.
Safe to say, he's feeling himself. Just take a look at 10. Run this one. He looked like he was dead in the water coming out to the right side. Great discipline on the perimeter you see by Texas State on defense, but that spin move, just ridiculous. And then finds plenty of maroon, that wall in front of him, escorting him down to a first and goal inside the 10.
Pistol snap. Leavitt Brown. A flag comes in, make it 2 in the area of holding. Say this about Leavitt. He does not lack for confidence. He was speaking to the media this week about the loss in Starkville.
Offense number 9. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Hart pulled a flag, and he said, it's one game, I'm not tripping. And it's not overconfidence, it's swagger.
It is, and that's important. It calms the rest of the team down. When you know your quarterback's going to be steely-eyed in the huddle, when he's going to be calm on the sideline, when you can count on him to go and make great plays like that. JB, for the offensive line up front, for the running backs that get that burden taken off them when he holds the backside of the defense, he makes everyone else on that group better.
And should stipulate, it wasn't for a lack of accountability. He was the first to point out all the different ways that he needs to be better. But from his coaching staff raining confidence down on him and him reflecting it back, he knows he's still the guy. Leavitt Brown gets skinny through the hole, hops over a tackle, rides the surge inside the 5. They push the pile to pay dirt, or just shy. 16 physical yards for Leavitt Brown and the offensive line behind him.
Tell you what, Leavitt Brown doesn't want to hear anything about thunder and lightning in this backfield. He says, you want thunder? I've got thunder for you. And this is what you coach in the offensive line room. Run to the ball and push.
Now on the sneak. Your guess as good as ours. Touchdown. Leavitt's got one through the air, now a rushing score to expand the Arizona State lead.
And a great job getting up to the line and getting set after that big rush, understanding, all right, we can use some of that tempo Texas State has used on offense. We saw Sam Leavitt get great yards on a sneak a couple of drives ago, and now punches another one in, paying off their defense. That's great complementary football to take that sudden change and turn it into a great opportunity even in spite of the penalty.
In less than 2.5 minutes, the first 2 touchdowns here tonight belong to Sam Leavitt and Arizona State, with a forced fumble from Keith Abney in between. The Sun Devils' first takeaway. ASU echoing around this stadium. Mountain America Stadium sold out for the second consecutive home game to begin a new season.
One of the great venues in the sport. A fan base that's fired up about their football team coming off a college football playoff appearance last year. and a second score, and PAT up on the board. Touchdown, I should say, as the Sun Devils take that 17-3 lead.
Raleek Brown got him to the doorstep, and Leavitt did the rest.
And it's been the Sam Leavitt show on the ground. A team leading 48 rush yards, some acrobatics, the spin moves, contorting himself in midair to make the throws, making guys miss at the point of attack. JB, he has been sensational so far tonight in every aspect for this team.
His fourth career game with a rushing and passing score, second week in a row. It's a good bounce back from a difficult performance last week, even though I think there's a parallel universe where we're talking about a pretty heroic story, the way that he led them back from their halftime deficits. Another booming kick will give us a chance to check in with Coy.
Yeah, talking with Marcus Arroyo, the offensive coordinator this week, he said that he wanted to tell his quarterback, Sam Leavitt, try softer, an old Bill Walsh phrase. Don't feel like you need to put everything on your plate. He took that loss last week pretty hard. Not quite sure that he got the message. Try softer. He's out here making people look silly, guys.
But that stuff comes naturally to him, JB. I think that's the reminder and the thing we talked about with not taking away what your player does great. That's just read and react for a guy who knows he's got the athletic ability to get it done.
Fair to call this a must-score possession for Texas State after those two touchdowns?
Absolutely. They've got to get a couple of first downs here, give their defense some time to recover on the sideline.
Incomplete. Bo Sparks, after fumbling, could not secure that as well as Kendrick Breedlove was in on the coverage.
I like that they went back to Sparks right away, though. Continue to show one of your most important receivers. You're not going to shy away from getting him the football.
Second down. Protections there initially. Jackson, Swarm, spinning off contact, breaking free, all the way to midfield. Scooting for 24.
He heard that comparison to Tim Tebow and said, I better put this team on my back right now, shrugging off tacklers.
At the mesh point he gives. What a big play, too, because if they get into 3rd and long, this game hits an early breaking point. Instead, he tilts the field, and they've got a chance to get it back to one possession.
We talked about Sam Leavitt's heroics on the other side. You see here multiple opportunities where the defense just can't get their hands on him. He's like a greased pig in the open field.
Tell me more about your junior rodeo days.
Tell you more about our trip to the Chuck Box. Speaking of beef.
On the ground again. Big hit from the safeties. That's been a theme tonight. Greg Burrell with the carry. Good look at Martell Hughes there, sophomore linebacker. Pickup of 7, 3rd down and 2 left. What could be 4-down territory for Coach Kinney. Only 1 of 5 on 3rd down, as you see so far. There is a flag in the air as they push the pile to the line to gain. Burrell, someone they wanted to get more work at 6'1", 217. He's a sophomore from Las Vegas, their biggest body in the backfield against this Arizona State front. Scott Broadway, our referee tonight.
There is no foul for illegal formation.
So then it becomes the spot of the ball. Was it enough for a first down? It was. They'll move the chains.
You mentioned the depth of that tight end room. 2 more running on right now. And that gives them a lot of flexibility for an offense that wants to spread you out, go fast. When you're able to keep personnel on the field that give you formation versatility, it puts the defense in a bind when they can't go and sub guys in.
They feel like tight end and running back are their positions of strength. 4 deep at each. Here comes the rush. Jackson off platform. Knocked down on the edge. Keyshawn Elliott running and hitting in space.
Running and hitting is what this linebacker group does incredibly well across the board, from Crook to Elliott to Fiaseo. These guys east and west as fast as any linebackers you'll see in the Big 12.
It is an all-conference selection. -3 on that tackle as we hit the 8-minute mark. 2nd down, and Brad Jackson's behind the chains now. Looking to answer back-to-back Sun Devil touchdowns. Redshirt freshman gives. A physical run back between the sticks to the 40-yard line. 4 on the ground. It's third down.
And JB, you mentioned it before. 4 down territory right here. So if you spread it out, you've got 4 guys, 5 guys, 6 guys in the box, and a good look for your offensive line. Can try and pop a run in here. See if you get to that magic number so you can keep going. But we've also seen these ASU safeties playing down closer towards the line. Let's see if they back off here, maybe anticipating the potential for a shot just outside of the red zone.
The back Perry motions to the widest left of Brad Jackson. Hits the slant. Sparks crunched at the 35. And the offense still on the field for 4th down.
Good job on 3rd down. G.J. Kinney uses that running back motion to get his quarterback a look at the coverage. Linebacker runs, he sees man. And now forces, I believe, what's going to be an Arizona State timeout to try and get the defense set for an important 4th down opportunity.
Yeah, the Bobcats 2 for 2 on 4th down already.
Their second.
You can see the enthusiasm from Kenny Dillingham there, and that's characteristic. I mean, find a shot at him where he's not enthusiastic. But I think one of the things he's pleased about is tamping down the explosives. And when they've got game control like this, that should only play in their favor.
Absolutely. It goes back to that identity that they want to cultivate. You had to replace a lot emotionally, certainly productivity-wise, when Cam Scadaboo walked out the door and went to the New York Giants this offseason. And so coming in with this stable of running backs that you've got, reestablishing that ground game, even understanding, hey, we know Jordan Tyson's an incredible talent. We know Sam Leavitt can throw the ball. But we also believe that in this league, where I know a lot of people who might be working off dated software still think the Big 12 is just some pace and space league, but defense is played here. The ball gets run here. There are great backs, great lines in this league, and Arizona State's not afraid to let theirs go out and flex.
You look at what G.J. Kinney has done, run and pass with the explosives. They are among the nation's best, albeit they haven't played this level of competition yet, but this is a multi-year trend that Arizona State's looking to derail. 4th down, Jackson needs 4. Sets his feet, resets the launch point. That ball is knocked down. The Sun Devils take it away. Kendrick Breedlove with the PBU. It's ASU football.
And there's more of the discipline you talked about, JB. The back end of this defense, not getting greedy, reading their keys, falling off, and making a plays when they get the opportunity. The Sun Devils bow up and give their offense another chance at the ball.
All 4 possessions for the Sun Devils so far across midfield. They turned it over on downs, then hit a field goal. A touchdown toss to Jordan Tyson that they'll be talking about for the rest of the season here in Tempe. And then Sam Leavitt sneaking it in from the 1. After they get a takeaway on downs from their defense, set up on the 36 to begin a 5th possession with 6:39 to go before the half. Mateer, the tight end, motions at the snap. Off play action, clean platform. That one whistles over the middle. Back to Jordan on the logo. A lid comes off as he churns into Texas State territory. Ryan Nolan lost the helmet. It's a pickup of 18.
And again, the route running, just incredible. Creates so much separation. And then if you're a defender seeing 0 in maroon, one-on-one in the open field, hold on for dear life. Great play action shot there too. They started with Mateer outside, motioned him back in, and again saw, all right, you got the safety coming down with him in the box, you got man coverage, just get 0 the ball.
Leavitt starting to feel it a little bit here. Big drive for Arizona State, trying to crack this open early and spreading around the targets like you hinted at. Kamari Anderson has his first catch of the season. Some in his room, the tight end room, have pointed out that the first 2 letters in Tempe, T-E. So
many are
do with that what you will.
It's the ultimate swing state on an offense when you've got competent big skill players that allow you to be so versatile in what you present to a defense.
Cut the chains in half. 2nd down upcoming. In plus territory. Leavitt able to put it on the number of Jordan Tyson and pick up a new 1st down.
And even a little behind, but it just doesn't matter. The catch radius for Jordan Tyson, the strong hands. As someone that's played a little EA college football 2026 with the Sun Devils, I can assure you Jordan Tyson catches everything.
Now hold on. A little? I thought this was a dynasty, and that's why you knew the Sun Devils so well.
It's a great look at the roster. They should be excited about A.J. Ia in that tight end room next year. I tell you what.
Big bounce to the outside. Raleek Brown stares down a defensive back before he ducks out of bounds. Did you already put Tyson in the pros, by the way?
Oh, yeah, he was long gone. There was no recovering that. Watch the patience here from Brown to just get up in the line of scrimmage, get those backers' eyes down in the middle, and then plant his leg and come up underneath that defensive end going up the field. You see Aiden Jones, I should say the linebacker, sneaking upfield, and he just works his way through really calm, that sort of old Le'Veon Bell approach to the line of scrimmage.
He's a former 5-star recruit. The hamstring just did not let him put it all on display last year. Now, Leavitt, deep drop, spinning away from trouble. At the sideline, incomplete. Kamari Anderson was trying on some toe drag swag.
I tell you what, that one's going to be awful close. I'd love to see another version of that because it looked like 1 foot. See the feet right here. The foot's in, but can't hold on to the football. I guess you'd need that in order to make the catch happen. But what do I know? I'm just a former offensive lineman.
Anderson checking out. ASU legit 3 deep at tight end. Mateer and Harpole as well, part of the rotation. Back to Tyson. Full pivot. He's making it look easy. Looks like another first down as we hit the 4-minute mark, and this is where ASU specializes.
Boy, it reminds me of my former teammate at Notre Dame, Michael Floyd. That ability to put the foot in the ground out in the perimeter with what is a short-looking gain on paper that becomes a really long gain because of the quickness and strength of your wide receiver.
He marked him out just shy of the line to gain. So here's a 3rd and 1 opportunity with Raleek Brown taking the handoff, little stutter step, and now it's 1st and goal. In the arms of Aiden Jones. A run for 6.
It's such a balanced attack right now for ASU. And you see Kenny Dillingham imploring his offense, let's use some of this tempo. We've got him on the ropes right now. He understands with a team this explosive, you want to take every chance you get in the red zone to put 7 up on the board.
Sun Devils have scored touchdowns on their last 2 possessions. Brown out on the perimeter, hit up the numbers. And a nice tackle in space made by Ryan Nolan. I mean, they love what Nolan gives them in the back end of their defense. Not the biggest or the strongest or the fastest, but he is their playmaker.
Boy, the back end down by the line of scrimmage, they've sent him as a blitzer. He can do a little bit of everything for you, and that versatility, we talked about on one side, having a versatile tight end. It forces the defense to say, am I going to put a nickel out there to cover him and pass? Am I going to put a linebacker to help in the run? A versatile safety, a very similar chess piece.
2 tight end formation here. Kanye Udo the back. 2nd and goal for Sam Leavitt. He pulls, he triggers, it's incomplete. Looking for Malik McClain. 3rd and goal.
Great job by Jaden Rios on the outside. Watch, they're both physical at the top of the route. You're usually looking for that backhand, and no doubt there's a lot of contact in that, but trying to go after the ball, make a play back there, didn't go through the body too much. I think it's a good no call.
Leavitt looking to his right. He's got Jordan Tyson in the slot there. He's the number 2 to the wide side of the field. Coming after him. Leavitt stands in. Tyson goes airborne, and that would have been every bit as good as his first. Even the incompletions are breathtaking.
Is that you're surprised every time he doesn't come down with the Herculean catch. I saw him snag a one-hander like that in the Friday practice with ease. And they get the matchup here. Looked like a 0 blitz look. The safety's up near the line, so you got a one-on-one look with him against Will Mitchell lined up in the slot. And you're going to take that shot every time.
Gomez another try. Last week he hit his 7th career field goal from beyond 50 yards to close out the first half. This more modest, only 26. Looking to take ASU to 20. Now, the operation was clean. He did kick the laces, but not even that can stop Jesus Gomez. One of the biggest areas of improvement year over year here for Arizona State, the kicking game.
It's been a really well-rounded effort for Arizona State so far tonight. Physical on defense, especially in that back end. Offense has spread the love. You've had the touches for Mateer in the tight end room. You've had both running backs getting going. Jordan Tyson's made the spectacular plays, as has Sam Leavitt. Everyone starred in their role. You hear coaches say that all the time. But I think this version of Arizona State is the one that most people anticipated seeing in the Big 12 this season.
I think that's well said. You know, Dillingham said, I know people want us to completely change, but we're not going to. We're just going to execute at a higher level, and that's what they've done so far. All Elite Wrestling presents September to Remember, a 3-hour action-packed event, live Wednesday at 8 on TBS, and stream it on HBO Max. Under the lights at Mountain America Stadium. Sold out for a second consecutive non-conference game. It's a maroon monsoon against Texas State tonight, 20-3 as we go back down to the field in Coy Wire.
Defense is on fire tonight, guys. Flesh bombs, knockbacks, and no big plays. This best defenses are those that are most talkative pre-snap. And tonight, these guys are out here locked in, communicating, on the same page. Had a couple big plays they gave up last week, and defensive coordinator Brian Ward thinks it's because they played a lot of games together. So they got a bit complacent, assuming too much. He told us communication breeds confidence, and the players, they took the mantle this week to get back to communicating. It is clear they've learned from their mistakes. They're out here barking tonight, guys.
All right, big chance to answer here. Almost feels like a must answer for Brad Jackson and his Bobcats. Lincoln Perry out of the backfield for 5 as a drive starter. Keyshawn Elliott gobbles up another tackle.
It's a great point about communication in the secondary. I always said DBs are little offensive linemen. You go backwards against some of the best athletes on the planet, and you've got to work as a whole unit, 4 or 5 players at a time.
Staying with their running game against one of the best run defenses in college football. They were the best in the Big 12 last year. They've held 3 straight opponents under 100 rushing yards dating back to last season. 5 of their last 6. 2-minute mark, gotta have it. 3rd down here, and Perry is stuffed. Jordan Crook breaking through to set up 4th down.
2-minute timeout.
This 2-minute timeout is brought to you by the Active Cash Credit Card from Wells Fargo. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply. For play, and on 4th down, Texas State will have to punt it again. David Nunez on the field. Raleek Brown, who's been devastating in the running game, deep to return. A wide snap, but well handled. And an end-over-end punt that Brown will let bounce at his 24. And it'll settle about the 23. Back to the 3rd down stop.
Yeah, you're going to look right here. So the offensive line's going to pull their tackle around this way. And Jordan Crook's got great eyes. This takes a while to develop. And so he shoots downhill to backdoor this puller and make a great splash play. Trusts what he sees, goes and fires downhill fearlessly, and makes a great play behind the line of scrimmage.
All right, so a lot of teams talk about the middle 8. Before going into the half, before coming out, this is a perfect scenario for Arizona State. They dominate this category. They've got the football, and they also deferred, so they'll get the first possession of the 3rd quarter.
You can swing the balance of a game operating in this area as well as ASU consistently does.
Down the line throw. Mateer on the move and steps out of bounds near the line to gain. A perfect drive starter, Shimon Mateer, exceeding his season reception total here in the first half tonight. Give him 9.
Gets out of bounds there to stop the clock. We're under 2 minutes now. First downs will stop the clock as well when they reset the chains. Arizona State 1 timeout left. Great opportunity with your veteran quarterback to go and execute this 2-minute situation.
He's 10 of 17 through the air. Run menu still available, and they'll take the 1st down. Royal highlighted this week the way that Raleek has impressed with his durability between the tackles, right? We know about his explosiveness and how devastating he can be on the edge, but he's been durable too.
Yeah, the more you can do, anytime your running back doesn't automatically signal to the defense, hey, they're running outside, hey, they're going to throw him swing passes and scat back stuff. As we see the defense substituting in mass right now for Texas State.
It was 3-3 after 1. The Sun Devils have scored all 17 here in the 2nd quarter, but this was a bust. Right from the play fake, they were in trouble. Khalil Alexander has been kept quiet so far this season by a lot of eyeballs, some chips and some doubles, but he breaks through here.
Yeah, two guys I was keeping an eye on coming into this. Khalil Alexander, Cameron Washington, their big defensive tackle. Both love to get upfield, make the offensive line miss. Is Arizona State content to let some of this clock run? Probably try and see if they can spring one more run before taking this into the half.
With Demarius Robinson, a freshman tailback, he's submarined by Alexander. Now a timeout, likely coming from Texas State with 31 seconds remaining and 3rd and long awaiting.
Yep, great opportunity. Got plenty of timeouts in your pocket. I believe they had all 3 going into that drive.
Texas State.
Did Texas State.
30-second timeout. Please reset the game clock to 33 seconds. 33 seconds on the game clock, please.
We know this team doesn't need a ton of time to make something happen on offense. We haven't seen the big plays yet for Texas State. But if you're G.J. Kinney, to the point about the middle 8, if you can manufacture another opportunity for your team here on a 3rd and long where Sam Leavitt and ASU are just going to take care of the football, I'm sure this is going to be a screen or a draw or an easy rollout where Sam's got an option if he's got a guy wide open, but they're not going to put the ball in harm's way here before the half, knowing that middle 8 opportunity. And so with the timeouts in your pocket, you can give your offense maybe another chance to take a shot downfield before the half.
Now Dillingham looking to extend the home winning streak to 8. Meantime, the Bobcats on the road, a chance to start 3-0 for the first time since the 1983 campaign. So more than 40 years since they've had this look. Chance to build off back-to-back 8-win seasons. That hadn't been done since G.J. Kinney came and did it, since the early 80s as well, before he was born. So 3rd and nearly 20. 3-man rush. They drop 8 in coverage. Leavitt slaloming, could not get away. Timeout with 24 left to go. Terry Russell with that play defensively for Texas State.
Timeout. Texas State, their second 30-second timeout.
Got to be careful here, because one thing that Kinney's group does really well, the return game, kick and punt. They've not had the kick opportunity because of the booming leg of Gomez, but as Kenyon Floyd and the punt team come out, something to watch carefully. And it's actually Matt McKenzie, the other punter, not Floyd, but McKenzie, who jogged out to take this boost.
And Bo Sparks back there waiting for it, giving him as many opportunities as they can with the ball in his hands to try and make something happen on this play and see if you can get enough yards on the return to give yourself a couple of chances. Maybe even sneak a field goal in, some positive momentum for your team going into halftime. Again, 2 timeouts in the pocket for G.J. Kinney and Texas State as they get set to return this punt.
As much trouble as they've had finding explosive on offense, maybe this is their best look at it to get some of that momentum you mentioned going into the break, knowing they'll have to kick it away to Leavitt and the Sun Devils to begin the second half. Sparks with a fair catch with his toes on the 45. 18 seconds, 1 timeout for the Bobcats. A punt of 33.
So obviously 1 timeout left. You've still got the middle of the field open to you. Now, may not quite have enough time left to execute something if you burn that timeout throwing towards the middle of the field, like we saw from Georgia Tech earlier in the day when you get that emergency field goal running on the field for the game winner. But at the same time here, you can still use the full 53 1/3, try and pick up a big chunk on this play, and then if you've got time, you throw another couple towards the sideline, see if you can eat up yards before you bring the kicking team out.
Now Robles, their kicker, has already hit from 50 yards this season, just as a barometer. They do take the check down. Perry breaks a tackle and diving into field goal range as the referee, one of the officials, took the brunt of that contact in the middle of the field. They stop it with 10. It's a gain of 19 as the ball's made ready for play. Brad Jackson ready to go. Looking sideline. He's in trouble. Watching the clock to the sideline, incomplete with 1 second left. Living dangerously, but they'll get the try.
And I think that's one of those spots where you're a young quarterback trying to make a play. If it's not there right away, you snapped it. Once the ball's spotted, the clock's going to start to wind again. You got to get that out and leave more time for the rest of the team here. Great job by that ref getting up and getting back in the play after taking the hit on a pick that ultimately sprung that run by Lincoln Perry.
All right, so last week a career-long 50 against UTSA. For Tyler Robles, this from 54. And Dillingham takes his final timeout.
Timeout. Arizona State. Their third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
You're going to watch the official right in the middle on this big play as Lincoln Perry gets the ball there, and then you see the pick on the linebacker, and the official's part of the field. That's how it goes sometimes. We see that sometimes affect the passing game. As we get another look right here.
Vaughn Cowan here, our umpire.
Takes a big hit from Martell Hughes. Glad he was okay, got up and was able to get back in that play and appears to be moving around fine now.
Why in the NFL they've moved that umpire behind the line of scrimmage to help the referee monitor the pocket. Robles will get the left hash here, again from 54. As time expires in the opening half. Right-footed boot on the way, and it is off the crossbar, no good. Michael James, the kickoff specialist, will send it back to the Sun Devils, who won the toss, elected to defer. Malik Brown up the middle, gets a block. Brown to the outside, flags everywhere, but he's gone. 98 if it stands.
It hurts my heart every time to see that laundry come out in the area of holding, almost assuredly coming back. But what a great job by the return man.
And they threw Jaron Hamilton back there to mix things up a bit. And the boos rained down, disappointed to see a highlight taken away.
Those are some heaves by the officials on those flags. Those were thrown with gusto.
There was confirmation, wasn't there? They both saw the same thing.
During the return, holding receiving team number 41. 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
Well, we were talking about it before we came back out for the half, JB. Big time opportunity for Texas State here. As we're going to look and try and see where the hold comes into play. 41 right back here. Just getting a little handsy at the point of attack. Always tough when that returner's up on you quick, but what a big missed opportunity for Arizona State to shut the door. But now for Texas State, a great chance for your defense to try and come out here and give your team some life when you desperately need it, so that ASU can't swing the middle eight.
By the way, ASU doesn't list a 41, so good for his family. We don't even get to call him out. We just go right to the handoff and right down to the field Coy wire.
Yeah, I talked to Texas State head coach G.J. Kinney on the way in at halftime. He said, although he started to run the ball a bit better, he thinks they're going to have to start throwing around the yard. As for head coach Dillingham of the Arizona State Sun Devils, he said, good teams finish. He said, show me that you have the ability to finish the game. They're playing with a lot of passion, a lot of heart. As for a star receiver, he said, I think the nation got a little more evidence of why he's the best there is. He's out here having quite the game tonight, fellas.
Oh, just a stunning first half. 5 catches, 100 yards, and that touchdown. On platform, finds a target. Incomplete at the sticks. Tyson's body language tells you everything you need to know, with Jaden Rios draped all over him.
And that was the same matchup we saw down in the red zone before, where I thought Rios kept his hands off just enough there. This time, he comes through, and I think he gets there pretty early. I'm surprised the flag didn't come out there, JB.
I'm with you. 3rd down and 9. These are the downs and distances that ASU has been trying to avoid. See Tyson in motion there at the bottom of your screen. Leavitt comes off that read, throws to the opposite side. It's a yard shy, it looks like. They get Malik McClain a catch, but it's 4th down. Offense lingering. Dillingham deciding.
Message sent right here to your group. We have to be able to get 1 yard on command. Backed up here. Some people may look at this as ill-advised. I kind of like the message that it sends to your group, as we got to be alert sneak after those first couple of plays from Arizona State last half.
Leavitt takes the snap and takes it over his center for a new set of downs.
I love that. It should be automatic for a football team that wants to define itself by the offensive line, by your ground game. When you've got 1 yard out there, I always say it's like having 11 in a hand of blackjack. I want to go try and get money on the table every time, and Kenny Dillingham puts all the chips in. I'm mixing gambling metaphors, but you get it.
He doubled.
Stay. Hold. What?
Look out. Shimon Mateer makes the catch, but it was read beautifully by Rios. So -2 on that TFL.
Second time on this drive we've seen Texas State able to make a splash play behind the line of scrimmage to start off the drive. That's what Arizona State did so well on the ground in that first half, getting 3-4 yards a pop on that first down play. Great start to the half by Texas State.
Defensive coordinator Dexter McCoyle played with Kenny at Tulsa back in their college days. 4-man rush. They hit the slants. Tyson makes the first miss. 3rd down upcoming at the 36-yard line. They get 5 through the air there. 6th catch for Tyson.
They've seen enough of Jordan Tyson making one guy miss in space. So you saw Ryan Nolan, their safety, sitting back there waiting for that. All eyes on 0 in maroon, trying to make sure they can rally multiple hats to him. Because if you got one guy in space, we've seen it's never enough.
ASU able to sneak for that opening first down, but now they're in 3rd and 7. And the 3rd down story continues to plague them, although they have done some damage on 4th down. Bobcats play coverage. Leavitt gets through one. Scrambling for a first down. Tumbles near the 50.
Absolutely fearless. 3-man rush from Texas State, so he knows I've got time, and then feels the rusher coming from behind there. Tymir Jackson, almost a 6th sense and set of eyes on the back of his head as he slithers for another first down.
And those are the ones right out of 3rd and long where they're okay with him taking off. Be special.
Yes, go out there, use your stinger.
Maury Anderson, a tight end in motion as they run middle with Raleek Brown. Brown's 10th carry. He's got about 70 yards tonight. Only 2 here.
We saw them go for it on 4th down, way backed up. I think, again, in this area of the field, you're dealing with 4-down territory. So I love that. Give the ball back to your backs again. Try and wear on them up front a little more. Soften that defense so that more of those play-action shots become available to you again.
See if they can extend this drive. Get some shades of Starkville in the way they came out of the halftime locker room on the road in SEC territory last week. Leavitt, dazzling. Goes down inside the 40. 14 more on the ground for QB1.
The read honestly looked like it should have been a handoff as Khalil Alexander was closing for the backside. But once again, kind of like we talked about with Jordan Tyson, Sam Leavitt has the earned confidence that if I'm one-on-one with a defender in space, I'm going to be the winner 9 out of 10 times.
Senior Associate AD, my friend Doug Tamaro, said that Leavitt is the most famous returning Sun Devil in more than 30 years. The preseason All-American against the blitz delivers, and I think someone got a piece of his arm there. Bodwin coming in from the 2nd level, disrupting that toss.
Looked like it just got a paw on that. You're going to see coming up right on the elbow there. It's a great call, JB.
3rd year at Texas State, but he's getting more opportunities on defense this year. So in plus territory with 2nd and 10. They send Anderson out in motion to lead the way for this swing pass. Brown through an ankle tackle. Now some shoulder contact. Running tough for a first down and 10 yards.
We mentioned Leavitt Brown running tough tonight up the middle, but that time you saw some of that 5-star ability on the perimeter. Great job at the end of that run, too, protecting the football. You started to see it swing around there. You worry about a punch out. He gets 2 hands on the ball to finish that run and moves the chains again.
52 yards already on the drive. This will be the 12th play of the march for Sam Leavitt and the Sun Devils coming out of the halftime locker room. Sliding to his left, could not find any daylight. A 0 on the ground, and that'll take us to the 9-minute mark.
This is the exact kind of drive, though, JB, that we saw in the second half last week from the Sun Devils, right? Methodical, churning clock, making this Texas State defense that played a barn burner of a game last week against UTSA come back out here and defend for these long stretches of time while you pound the rock inside.
They've already run 52 plays. Udo gets his chance. They fake it to him, set up the tight end screen. Shimon Mateer to the outside for a touchdown. 27 yards for Shimon Mateer.
And when you create the respect that they do for these tight ends and how they work in the run game, how they block at the point of attack, you make easy opportunities in the short passing game that can become long, big plays like that for a great score.
Had a good game against Texas State in a win last year. 2nd team all-conference. Came into tonight with only one 20-yard catch, but they were very intentional about designing targets for him to reward all of his great work on the blocking surface. And Mateer scores a touchdown. His first of 2025 to expand the lead. ASU is willing to go for 4th down and 1 from their own 30, and Mike, that allows them to put together a 13-play, 79-yard touchdown drive.
And their commitment to the run during that set up a great play here. Watch the pull and how it influences the linebackers here, and then the initial block down by Mateer before he leaks out of the backside. Their respect for him as a blocker paying off on this play. All the linebackers fly right. Your offensive line sneaks out and gives them the convoy left. And again, because the defense has so much respect for what Shimon Mateer's put on tape as a blocker in this game, he gets to go and get hands on the rock.
Call out Kyle Scott and Josh Atkins leading the way there. Drops a name on the offensive line. So the lead now 27-3. And so far Arizona State and Gomez, they've not allowed any return opportunities to one of the best kick return teams in college football. See if they can generate one here. There it is, above the 30 and knocked out by the kicker with great starting field position. So you give Jalen Jenkins the chance, and he racks up more than 40 yards on the return.
The Sun Belt leader in kick return average this season. You see why he just hits the seam, puts a foot in the ground, and gets north and south. Great play by Gomez getting him done there. It's got to be tough. No disrespect to kickers, but having that be the guy that takes you down in the play never feels good.
That is an area of concern as we turn our attention toward conference play. ASU, when they do allow returns, averaging more than 30 yards per tote going the other way. Brad Jackson to the wide side of the field. Able to get it to Kylan Evans. That's only his 3rd catch of the season, and he's close to a first down on the first toss from Brad Jackson.
Kylan Evans sort of breaks the norm in that receiver. When we mentioned G.J. Kinney's got a type, usually smaller receivers. Evans at 6'2", a nice big target for your quarterback to get into that rhythm that they've been chasing all night.
Well, back out into a wide split at the bottom of your screen. That's Sparks in the slot. They take off. Jackson rolls their way. Hit as he throws, and it's on target. Big crunch on Blake Smith. And he's slow to get up with a pickup of 9. Montana Warren and these Sun Devils, they are hitting tonight.
Got sandwiched between 2 defenders, and
timeout.
hope he's okay.
Timeout us as they attend to Blake Smith. Tight end Blake Smith paid the price for that 9-yard completion from Brad Jackson, who was also hit as he delivered.
You see the hit there delivered by Keyshawn Elliott in the pocket. And then right here, Rouser trailing, and Montana Warren comes from that other side to deliver the hit. Incredible job holding onto the football there by Blake Smith in traffic. First 2 starts of his career come this season. Hopefully he can get back out there soon.
The Titus Lyons, his replacement, in motion here. Burgess the carry. Stopped on that right side. No gain. 3rd down upcoming. And this ASU defense continues to stuff the run in addition to surrendering less than 100 yards through the air.
And here again on that play prior, you see the hit delivered by Keyshawn Elliott on Jackson. Clean hit, great shot, but those kind of body blows that add up over the course of a long game and maybe have you sailing the ball a split second quicker to try and avoid that again.
You would figure 4-down territory. Let's see if Perry can pick it up. He does move the sticks as he gets upended at the 35-yard line by Rouser. Brian Ward very complimentary of the way that Rouser's been playing. No huddle as they have been throughout this night with a new set of downs. Maybe a design QB look here for Jackson as a flag comes in behind his scramble. And now a second from the back of the play. Jordan Crook with the hit.
Yeah, you worry about that in the area of targeting anytime you got a quarterback giving himself up on the slide like that.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, I hate that we introduced the topic on this note, but Emeka Obibo has a brother playing for Arizona State. They teamed together a season ago, but Gemeto's now at left guard for the Sun Devils.
That's some big twins right there. 6'4", 325, 6'5", 374 as your listed weight.
Why are you emphasizing listed? You're giving me a skeptical look.
I was down on the field before. I don't care what the scale says. That's a big man that can move and clear a path. That's exactly what this Texas State offense needs.
It definitely disrupts what had been a great drive so far. Back near midfield. Straight ahead running. Perry veering to his left and stumbles near the 25. 18 on the ground for Lincoln Perry. Top 20 nationally in yards per carry this season.
Great job by Titus Lyons, the backup tight end, in for Blake Smith on that play leading in the hole.
Ducks his shoulder, only needed the 25, and that should be good for a first down.
Arizona State get the chance to substitute because Texas State substituted. These tempo offenses, that's the difficulty sometimes when you get caught on field in these long drives now, the way this has become for Texas State. Your defense getting a chance for a breather there.
Bobcats have scored 95 points in their first 2 weeks, still looking for their first touchdown tonight. Perry drills to the 21. Albeit the opponents, Eastern Michigan, UTSA. But I mean, the octane level should have been enough to put a scare into Arizona State tonight, and so far it's been all Brian Ward and this defense.
They responded to the challenge. This team knows and is fully aware they almost lost to Texas State last year. They were never going to sneak up on the Sun Devils this year.
Jackson fading away. Sparks cut down right where he made the catch. They're going backward on a play in space by Crook. 7th tackle for loss for this defense.
Just another play where Crook trusts his eyes and fires downhill, setting up a 3rd and long.
Sun Devils come after him with 4. Squeeze his pocket. Jackson still gets through. Below the 20 to the 18. It's 4th down on that 7-yard scamper. No interest in a field goal here, it looks like. They need 6.
Great job by Jackson getting enough to make this a much more manageable 4th down as they get Maven Anderson on field, get a little bit smaller. And Arizona State gets the chance to substitute as well, get their nickel package on the field and get ready for a 5-wide look here. Running back out, no one follows. Safety following now, so it looks like man coverage across the board.
Whistles and a timeout on defense.
Timeout. Arizona State. Their first 30-second timeout.
Good timeout by Kenny Dillingham. I think my confusion was sort of shared by the defense there, who you didn't see react right away when the running back went out. That's been the staple for Texas State so far tonight. So big opportunity. They've been comfortable going 5 wide. That way Brad Jackson does have the opportunity, if the lane presents, like we've seen Leavitt do all night, to go and try and get this hard 2.5, 3 yards with his legs.
A critical juncture. You don't need, the broadcast booth to tell you that based on the score here. But 24 unanswered for the Sun Devils. They come out of the locker room. They get another touchdown. Texas State has to answer here. Otherwise, you can just feel the Sun Devils squeezing this game.
No doubt about it. That long, crushing drive coming out of the halftime locker room. You know the Sun Devils would love another chance for what we saw last week in the fourth quarter, a 17-play drive, only 1 passing attempt, get lathered up front. This group's
yardage and points week over week. It's been a much different test tonight. And tamping down explosives was the focus for this ASU defense, and so far it's been the secret sauce.
Mature response from the 2024 Big 12 champion college football playoff bound Sun Devil squad.
It's Burgess in the backfield flanking Brad Jackson. 4th down, gotta have it rep here. Deep in the progression, he finds Kylan Evans to keep the drive and maybe Texas State's chances alive.
Great mesh concept here coming across the field, and you get that little natural rub, gets lost in the fray. Easy pitch and catch.
Back on the ground. Burgess down the hash marks to the 10.
Back up to the line here. You see all the receivers outside near the numbers. Lots of space to account for.
13th play of the Bobcats drive. Runs out of time. Brad Jackson is sacked by Clayton Smith.
Rush lane discipline from your defense. Understanding, I've got to keep contained on the quarterback when he goes to spin out. Clayton Smith waiting there with open arms to seal the deal.
A career night last Saturday in SEC country. A couple of sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Had a big game against Texas State last year with a sack and a fumble recovery.
He's a big, rangy athlete. Good pass rush polish. Great spin move that he can turn to. As we see again, mass substitution for the Sun Devils.
Running off the field here as they take it from empty. Pocket crumbling again. Jackson caught sideline near the line to gain. Ty Stamey, the 6'6" tight end, has 15 yards, and again 4th down coming.
Boy, the playmaking on 3rd down from Brad Jackson, you can see why he's a captain, someone they count on even in the midst of this, manipulating the pocket that he's been stuck inside as G.J. Kinney heads down to burn a timeout, understanding it's a critical juncture for his team.
Timeout. Texas State, their first.
Sun Devils holding a 27-3 lead. It's 4th down in the red zone for Brad Jackson and his Bobcats. Freshman quarterback. Can he find a way? He does. And for the first time tonight, the Bobcats are in the end zone. And signaling for 2.
Phenomenal call by G.J. Kinney and this staff. You've held that card most of the night, the design quarterback draw. Spread the defense out. Now you got to bust out your best 2-point play. As we see Bo Sparks over there in that 3-receiver bunch on the right side here. Always got to have your eye on him and the gravity he creates. Or Kylan Evans right next to him, the big body down here in the low red zone.
The Sun Devils have done a good job on Sparks tonight. 5 catches, only 28 yards, well below his numbers. Blitz coming, throw to the end zone, incomplete, no flags down. The 2-point try, no good, thanks to Keith Abney, who's made some really critical plays for ASU tonight.
Great timing on the draw here. You see his center, Brock Riker, the redshirt freshman, getting up to the 2nd level, and then this is what Brad Jackson can do. Get loose, put a foot in the ground in the open field, and separate from 2nd and 3rd level defenders.
First time that the Bobcats have scored since the opening frame. The determined drive. 15 plays, nearly 60 yards. And they white-knuckled their whole way down the field, didn't they? Had to survive some fourth downs along the way and some negative downs and distances.
You mentioned both coaches felt the importance of that drive. Kenny Dillingham spends a timeout on one fourth down. G.J. Kinney spends a timeout on the other. They both know how important that moment was to keep the Bobcats feeling like, going back to Coy talking in the open, if you can just get one more score, drag them back into the deep end, make them a little nervous in the fourth quarter, this team's got the ability to always pop a big play and make things interesting.
Yeah, when you're trailing 3 scores, you have to be so reluctant to spend a timeout in the third quarter. But it really underscores how big that conversion and that touchdown was. Jaron Hamilton just cracked a big one that was called back due to penalty. Let's see if he gets another chance here. He will not. A little bit of game pressure back on Sam Leavitt, and I'm sure that, you know, Kenny Dillingham, big picture, doesn't hate it, right? Because whether or not this becomes a fourth quarter game, they're not done tonight.
This whole week has been a test of the maturity of your football team that they have passed. Was out at practice on Friday. You saw an energy of a team that wasn't letting last week's result snowball into another week. You never want to let one become two. Now is another opportunity like that inside this game to say, are we mature enough to go out here and treat every drive as a new opportunity to put points on the board?
First play of a new drive, and they run it through the left side. Raleek Brown, gone! Trailing Bobcats behind him. 75 to the house.
There's that 5-star speed from the former USC running back and modern-day product. Great blocking by the left side of this offensive line. Josh Atkins, Jameto Abibo, Ben Coleman, the center, getting him up to the second level, and then you saw him smash the accelerator.
If the question coming into this season offensively was in the post-Scadaboo era, can Arizona State subsist on the diet of running the football like they have for the last couple of years? And some might say, well, this is Texas State. Hold on. You can't just draw any conclusions based on a 75-yard dash. But combined with last week, second half in particular, this is a really positive indicator for Kenny Dillingham going into conference play.
He said he believed they found an identity, and they've come out here and made him right with the way they approached this game tonight.
I think Raleek's just looking for offensive linemen to thank as part of that celebration.
Hug up your big fellas. Always a good decision.
So Texas State gets their first touchdown on a fourth down conversion from their quarterback. And on one play, a home run hit, 75 yards, and the extra point on top of it.
All right, so let's watch this play from the start. And again, watch this wall of humanity on the left side of the line. Great job getting up to the second level, creating space. But watch here at the end of the run. You saw fired up Kenny Dillingham on the sideline. And I think it's because we almost had a potential Deshaun Jackson territory there where he let go of the football a little bit early. But just a great job. Again, your offensive line gets up, and when you've got all those bodies down near the line of scrimmage, if you get one seam with that kind of speed. And it's amazing, all these years later, we're still running into this as a potential problem. And a great teachable moment right there, right? That's why Kenny's pulling him back. He's saying, hey, you made a great play, but the attention to detail that's going to make us a team that can compete for the Big 12 title again is built in those little moments.
You saw the sprinter's finish, right? He's trying to put his nose out there to break the tape, but we're playing a different game here tonight. It's the nose of the football that counts.
Nice to be able to coach that when they review it and it still counts and not have to worry about the alternative. We've seen a couple instances of that already early in this college football season, where guys don't quite seal the deal before they start to get the celebration going.
A career night for him and the longest ASU touchdown dash since 2016. Another return here. You can tell the Bobcats feel like they've got the advantage in this dimension. Jenkins out near the 30. And it'll be a conditioning test for this ASU defense, having just faced a long drive. Let's go down to Coy.
Yeah, that Raleek Brown, he will run past you. He'll jump over you, put you in the spin cycle. We've seen all that through the first 3 games. He's got more moves than Golic on stage on a Friday night karaoke. I talked to him before the game. I said, how much you going to go for tonight with your increased workload? He said 250. He's on his way. He's up to 144 on the night.
Golic, your karaoke repertoire includes such hits as?
I did once karaoke Summer Lovin' and pull off the Sandra D part. I got range, baby. I got range. As does Raleek Brown.
Sparks going to the ground, showing his catch radius. It's a first down completion to Sparks.
And it's got to be tempo from here on out, as it's been all night for Texas State, but just such a backbreaker on that last drive.
Wonder if this might warrant another look from the replay official.
The previous play is under video review, whether or not the ball was caught.
Kenny asking Sparks whether his hands were underneath it.
Looks secure to me. I think he got his hands all the way underneath. You don't see the football move when it hits the ground. And again, the football can move provided he's got control of it and you don't see it bobbled and lost. But a great job cradling the hands underneath. Ooh, you wonder if the nose of the football hits a little bit right there as it slides. That last look.
Was there firm possession before that nose of the football dipped into the turf?
That last view made me reconsider. That might be incomplete.
Since you walked around on it, is this playing surface as good as its reputation?
Oh, it is immaculate. And we get a great look at it right here. See, from that angle, that looks like a catch. But then you see right here, the ball comes up into his arms. I think from that first angle, you saw enough of his arms underneath where I don't think the nose of the football actually contacts the ground. I'm going to say that call's upheld when we get a catch.
After video review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
Have a night, Golic. Stay hot.
I needed to honor the grass after you set it up there. It really is beautiful. I saw the video of the grounds crew here painting the end zones. Deeply soothing and highly effective.
So an 11-yard completion and a new first down. Inside of 2 minutes to go in the third. Jenkins, the return man, now takes a turn in the backfield. Bounce it out wide for 8. Yeah, shout out to Brian Johnson. When you got Bermuda in your social media handle, you know you're devoted.
That's the GOAT.
Apparently he's retired, but not really, clearly. Can't get enough.
Great story on him by my friend Nicole Arbach from back in the day. And you can't come out and enjoy painting the end zone in retirement. That seems like the ideal way to do business.
Sign me more to Sparks to move the chains.
First down, Bobcats, just number 46.
High snap. Somehow brought it down. Able to get the handoff to Jenkins, but that's another run stuff for ASU. Keyshawn Elliott, who pound for pound is reputed as one of, if not the strongest Sun Devils.
He got some help from his big fellows up front. The jersey's a little rolled up. It looked like CJ Fight, though. Shrugged off one blocker, hit a puller, eating up space so that his linebackers can get downhill and make a play.
Let's go back to Fight, remind me, because he's been a star on this defensive front. Out quickly, outside the numbers. Ty Stamey near another first down. Fight's box score counting stats are never going to reflect the damage that he does on the interior.
No, and what he represents for this team, you talk to people around here, they're as deep with big bodies along both lines of scrimmage as they feel they've ever been around here. And Fight's one of those guys that you'll see doing the dirty work at the point of attack, allowing these lighter, faster linebackers to go run and hit and not have big guys putting hands all over them. As you see the substitution game take us down to the end of the third quarter.
All right, closing out the non-conference against Texas State. Looking to get to 2-1 before they try and defend their Big 12 crown. Coming after the quarterback here. Jackson unloads, end zone. Contested all the way, incomplete. No flags down. It's been a big night for Boogie Wilson stepping in for Alford in the back end.
Great job taking advantage of an opportunity and continuing to limit those big plays. Kenny Dillingham impressed with the composure of his defense all night, who has understood exactly what he preached. The yards we won't worry about. It's limiting the explosives that have been the hallmark for Texas State.
Only 134 passing, to your point, for Jackson. They do put it on the ground here and plunging below the 30. They shorten up third down considerably. Give Crook another tackle for ASU.
And this is what Kenny's talking about now. This is the challenge for your defense. These moments, another big money down situation. You understand as a unit, Texas State going to use all 4 downs at this point of the game. And so can you go up and create another splash play opportunity as we see Clayton Smith coming back onto the field, one of the guys that certainly... Oh, I stand correct. That was Martell Hughes. Clayton Smith is out there.
Yep.
Right here.
Front empty. Quarterback run all the way. They cave in that right side and pave the way for Brad Jackson to refresh the downs.
That's really been one of the biggest adjustments in this second half, is making a lot more use of Brad Jackson in the design running game.
Burrell in the backfield to protect him. This time to the air. Bounces off his target's hands. Kylan Evans incomplete.
This has really become the third down. We talked about a big focus on both sides for ASU today. Second and long is where Texas State's been able to work their way back in on these drives. Get to third and medium, then get to fourth and short. You've got to be able to bow up on second down.
Lions the move tight ends. And they will rush it again. Near the 20. Don't know if any ASU fans were watching the rival down the 10 last night, but Ismail Mahdi had a huge night. He hit the portal for Texas State before their bowl game and wound up in Tucson. So that's who they're replacing in the run game this year.
We got a chance to see them first week of the season against Hawaii. And Ismail Mahdi, really his breakout game, you're right, against Kansas State. Exciting contest, a great preview, even though that wasn't technically a Big 12 game.
Non-conference.
What it will look like.
2 minutes into the fourth. Have to be efficient here if you're Jackson. This time the catch is made, but shy of the line to gain. So Evans with sure hands this time, but it's going to be another fourth down must-have for G.J. Kinney.
And if you're ASU on defense at this point, it's got to be all eyes on the quarterback run. As we see them load up, bring on a couple of big bodies here, an extra offensive lineman, 2 tight ends. This could be one of those quarterback lead power situations. As we see a full hockey line change for Arizona State on defense. They said, anything you can do, I can do better.
Chuck box formation, you good with it?
Whew. Haven't seen that much beef together since we walked by Stat Grill today.
Oh no, the ball's down. Disaster for Texas State. It may end right there on 4th and 1. A botched exchange, and ASU takes over.
And that's one of those things you take for granted, JB. This team doesn't line up under center a ton. Brock Riker, your redshirt freshman center, stepping into place this year. And unfortunately, this one on the mat, as Arizona State will take over, up 34-9 here in the fourth quarter.
12 Uncovered there, our access-driven series that takes you inside the rivalries, personalities, and moments that shape Big 12 football. You can catch it Saturdays, TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. Leavitt going vertical. Got it! No, dropped! Thought he dropped it in the bucket, but instead dropped by Hamilton.
A high degree of difficulty. Puts it out there and right through his hand. It's a tough catch. You're on the fly, looking at it over your shoulder, going full speed. But one you gotta have to pay off that kind of shot. Led him all the way. That would have been striking up the band, hitting your head in the goalpost.
Something he and Hines might be talking about tomorrow. 2nd down and 10. To the ground. And Coy, it was really enjoyable watching you catch up with one of your buddies at the team facility yesterday.
Talked to Hines Ward here just after halftime, too. Asked him about his man, Jordan Tyson, and the half he's having. And he said, you know, my main concern was trying to keep him humble. He didn't want that fat cat syndrome to settle in a bit, big man on campus. So he's really focused on keeping him humble. And he said regarding that one catch in the end zone, when he went up for it with one hand, he said he was trying to be cute. I ran over and told him catching a touchdown's cute. Get 2 hands on the ball.
A 3rd down here, and they finally get all the way home to Leavitt. He's been so elusive, but on 3rd down and long, they sink him. Traylon Payne in the mix.
All right, the response from Texas State here. You rush 5 and you open the net and then close it up around the quarterback. You've got guys rushing from different levels. The offensive line gets on levels themselves. And Sam Leavitt, who's been used to being Houdini in the pocket all night, can't stick the landing.
Boy, what a swing there. If that hits to Hamilton, everybody's heading to their cars. Instead, there's still life for Texas State, but they're going to have to strike quickly. A short punt should help their cause as it hops out of bounds near midfield. 10:44 left to cover. Bobcats depriving us of the opportunity to walk through the Hall of Fame on all fronts. But turnabout is fair play. The Sun Devils answer a sack with one of their own. Jordan Crook racks it up.
I'd say Crook and Boogie Wilson on defense have both been playing with their proverbial hair on fire all night long. Anytime they see it, they're turning it loose and hitting it.
Pocket breaks down. Jackson leaves. Out on the edge. Throws. He was still at or behind the line of scrimmage, but it's busted up, incomplete. Miles Rouser got a hand across. 3rd down and long.
Ball a little behind and just great compete. Coming back, playing through the ball, playing through the whistle, never assuming anything. This secondary's had a banner performance tonight after a rough outing at Mississippi State where they just gave up a handful of big plays in an otherwise pretty strong outing themselves.
Long way to go, although you would think the Bobcats might use 2 plays to get it, and this screen gives evidence to that. Back near the original line of scrimmage, trailing 34-9 with 10 minutes to go. They need to get to the 41 of the Sun Devils.
Been tough sledding all night for Bo Sparks, trying to get loose. They've had plenty of eyes on him. And right now that pass rush for Arizona State really bearing down. We've talked about Clayton Smith a few times on the right side over here.
Desperation, 4th down here. Bobcats trying to keep their hopes alive. And it hits. Sparks comes up clutch. 13 yards to the 39 of ASU.
Great job here, just plenty of room in front of him. Run to green grass, go back and make a great play on the football. 1st down.
Jackson hit as he delivers. Perry the check down. A good thing he was available because Jackson got decked.
Looked like Prince Dorba again. He's taken some shots and kept going tonight. I'll tell you what, a lot of respect for Jackson.
Down the line here to Sparks, hiding behind his block to the 30, just shy of a new 1st down. Brad Jackson, by all accounts, is smart, and even if his coaches didn't say as much, the fact that he had offers from Harvard, Penn, and Columbia is a pretty good indication that he's got the super processor upstairs.
To go along with those wheels, deadly combination.
A 2-back look here. It's going to be a 1st down run to the 24-yard line. Clock will continue to wind. 6 yards there for Lincoln Perry. A veteran they trust in every aspect. Pass pro, running the rock, a receiver out of the backfield. Jackson hustling here. He's got a one-on-one. Great coverage. Rodney Bimage Jr. just sitting over the top of that. Took it all the way to the end zone.
running the route for him, right? Got his eyes back right away, saw it every step, did a great job shielding as we got a player down right now for Texas State in the second level.
That's Sparks sitting on the 10. It's a long road back for the Bobcats, down 34-9. And it would be impossibly steep without this young man.
73-yard score last week, 4 touchdown receptions in week 1. Got 5 on the year. Looks like he's getting that cramp stretched out right now, so hopefully get stretched out and hydrated and get back out here. But no one else in college football has more than 3 receiving touchdowns coming into this game, so he was your nation's leader and a really important part of this team. Glad to see him walking off under his own power.
Tyson did everything in his power to track him down tonight, didn't he?
He's going to be tracking down a lot of national receiving numbers, I'm sure school receiving numbers as this season goes along. One of the most electric players in the sport.
Talk about Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. Ryan Williams, I think, had another big day for Bama. But Tyson's right there in that conversation with the true elites at his position in the sport.
Came into tonight leading the Big 12 in receptions, 3rd in receiving yards after 2 weeks. And like you said, just continuing to put distance between himself and the pack.
So second down in the full chains as we resume with just over 8 to go. Sparks out for at least 1 play. Perry in the backfield. They fake the handoff to him. And there goes Jackson. Met in the middle. Martell Hughes, a sophomore linebacker from San Diego.
Big hit here, and sitting back playing zone coverage means all these linebackers and safeties in the middle of the field can have their eyes in the backfield on the quarterback. They know he's been the difference maker this second half.
Jackson wings one, a leaping catch made near the 15-yard line. Didn't take Sparks long to get back in this game. The signal is 4th down, however, as Abney repels it.
Deja vu. 4th and short for Texas State in the second half of this game, and they're hurrying up.
Perry takes the handoff, cut down in the hole just below the 15-yard line. That's enough. They did convert another 4th down. Perry begging them to keep feeding him, it looks like.
And to hurry up and run it so they don't think about taking a look.
Long wait for this first down snap. Complete to the 10 and tackled inbounds. Titus Lyons gets a catch. Came in with only 1 on the season. This is good for 5 yards. Crook covers him up.
All right, this is where if you're Kenny Dillingham, Brian Ward, the defensive coordinator, you've taught your defense. We don't care if you give up yards, but once you get down here, shrink the windows and make the plays.
That's a good call back to Coy's interview between periods. Jackson slips one, and the Sun Devils get hats to the football, but not before 1st and goal.
Credit to Texas State on offense. Got down in this game. They go down, they score after a long drive, finally get a touchdown on the day, and Arizona State immediately pops off a huge run. But these guys have kept churning, and I think if you're G.J. Kinney looking how to build off of this game, if you're not able to mount a miraculous comeback here and say, we fought till the very end, we went out and kept trying to execute at a high level, and your quarterback led the charge on that. That C on his chest, well earned.
And they huddle here to give us a chance to say they'll be home to Nichols next week and then a bye in week 5. They load up initially, then shift, and a timeout spent to avoid the delay of game.
Timeout. Texas State. Their second. 30-second timeout.
And JB, you certainly didn't want to rush that because that was the same formation, pre-snap movement that you saw on the last 4th and short attempt under center where Texas State fumbled the football. And we went back and looked at that. and it looked like the center got the ball back, but your quarterback's leaning back, trying to get out of there quick, and that's not something that's a steady diet of their offense, right? We don't see a ton of under center work. And so you go out and practice, you do it in quarterback center exchange before, but most of your muscle memory and your reps are in the shotgun. And so executing that in a pivotal moment cost them before, and they want to make sure they get that right here.
I wonder if he and Riker went to the sideline and repped a few between series.
You always do. There's nothing more nerve-wracking as a center than having a botched snap, because you work so hard to make that automatic. And so when it all of a sudden betrays you in that moment, and whoever's fault it is, it honestly looked like that was partially on both of them. Quarterback pulling away, maybe it didn't get all the way there, but you go over there, you get a few in there, you get everyone comfortable again, so you can go out and execute when all of a sudden you've got someone lined up across from you.
It's a freshman from Brock, Texas, making his third start in as many games. They are really glad that he has grown up so fast. First and goal, and it represents the 14th play of this drive. Lincoln Perry offset runs. Looking end zone, and he layers it in for 6. Touch pass to Kylan Evans, who scores his first touchdown. Texas State not done yet.
And once again, going for 2 right now. Offense staying out on the field. Good job getting big to go small. You got some big personnel up there. Get a good look in the back of the end zone and catch the defenders, the safeties with their eyes in the backfield, thinking you could get another quarterback rushing attempt or another run downhill with Lincoln Perry in the backfield.
Sun Devils have already rejected a 2-point try on defense in this half. Jackson will try it again. The heat arrives. The ball is down. That should be incomplete. There are the whistles, and the 2-point try fails again. 34-15, our new score. Another look at the touchdown toss from the redshirt freshman, Brad Jackson, to another young talent, Kylan Evans.
I'm sure Kenny Dillingham, who's been fired up all night on that sideline, going through these coachable moments all game long. Raleek Brown's long touchdown, he's still harping on him about controlling the football all the way through. He's going to be dialed in to see how his team, and especially how his offensive line in this running back room, go out and try and impose their will in an attitude drive.
Arizona State, as you see, set up expecting the onside. And here it comes. Into the pile they go. The Sun Devils reacting as if they've got it covered. And indeed, Arizona State football. Well, when Jordan Tyson has his name called next April, our Coca-Cola play of the game will be one of his highlights.
The play was so good by Jordan Tyson, we completely overlooked the insane pocket maneuvering and throw. But you see it all on display right here. Gets open, has the run after catch ability, the hurdling and acrobatics, tightrope walking the sideline. That play emblematic of all the things that Zero and Maroon can do for this team.
Our Coca-Cola play of the game. Tyson with 6 catches for 105 and that touchdown. He was targeted 9 times. New quarterback in the game, Jeff Sims, spelling Sam Leavitt, so we can give you his final line as well. Leavitt came off that loss in Starkville, 15 of 25 for 188 passing and 2 touchdowns.
Great bounce back performance from him again after statistically you could argue his worst game as a Sun Devil. Went out here and got it done in the air and certainly with his legs.
Seen Robinson get a look in this backfield, a little bit depleted today. He's through the right side. A flag comes in late as he picks up the first down. We'll see if it stands.
You get some of the reserve offensive linemen in here now as well. So coming off the bench, a little bit cold.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
And Champ Westbrooks, who added 20 pounds to his frame to get ready for this freshman season. He's from LA.
Great opportunity for these guys, right? Makua Pule goes in at center. Moonlighted at fullback at times last year. Terrell Kim at right guard. These guys got the opportunity to finish it off, but a little behind the chains now.
Sims, the 23-year-old backup. A clean pocket. He gets antsy. He takes off. And he's special in space. Inside the 40. Picks up 11.
Let me tell you what, seeing him up close and personal, that's an impressive looking physical specimen. You see him finish off at the end of the run right here. All 6'4", 220 pounds, putting his shoulder down at the end of that one. Over 4,400 career passing yards and 1,100 career rush yards in his 25 games at Georgia Tech.
Senior from Jacksonville trying to close this out. Did you see the lead blocking? I mean, I know I'm talking to my target audience here, but Golick, take it away.
Little pin and pull action for the quarterback lead on the side, and you're going to see the cavalry making their way out here. Watch your tight end as well. Cameron Harpole's been working tonight. He gets the pin down, gets up to the second level, keeps his feet driving. Create a seam for your quarterback. You're +1 because your quarterback's the runner, so you get an added blocker, and it looked like it. Wide open hole on that play for the second string unit.
The Sun Devils trying to sweep the home and home, the back-to-back with Texas State, where the Bobcats move on to the Pac-12 next summer.
An interesting passing of the Pac-12 baton in this game, right? Arizona State, former Pac member. Texas State, a part of the revived version that we'll get to see starting next year. And you've seen, JB, the investment in the program from Texas State at almost every level, including the great coach and the turnaround G.J. Kinney's been a part of, really shows the arrow pointing up for the Bobcats.
It's a booming college town between Austin and San Antonio. They only jumped to the FBS level back in 2012, so it's been a rapid ascent. Robinson trying to close this one out with 6. Seeing a good mix of Raleek Brown and Kanye Udo with no Tyson Brown tonight. Still battling that ankle. Good to give him another week. With conference play right around the corner for these Sun Devils. Sims using his cadence on 3rd and short. Still 18 and winding on the play clock.
Yep, try and see if you can get an easy one.
He does. Leavitt a lot of success with the sneak, and they'll move the chains to the top of the red zone. And we have reached the 2-minute timeout. 34-15 Arizona State.
Mount America Stadium in September. Nothing better. Let's start it off. Let's go. Good snaps, good points. Pound the feet. You ready? The OB Bowl. Man. OB Bowl. OB Bowl gonna be lit. Twin on twin.
Easy to love Ben Coleman, whose dad played 9 years in the league, including a couple here in Arizona. His mom's whole side of the family went to ASU. Ben's a 7th year. He's earned a couple of Masters. We had a mic'd up pregame.
You're always going to get some good stuff from the big fella pregame here. Sees the opportunity to shine, and he's done just that. Again, honorable mention all Big 12 last season at guard. Preseason all-conference pick this year. Didn't allow a sack last season, and great on the microphone. We love an offensive lineman on the mic.
Jeff Sims under center in victory formation, giving us a chance to look at the upcoming schedule for ASU, presented by Modelo at Baylor to kick off conference play.
Certainly a tough stretch here, right? On the road for Baylor, Utah, Iowa State. All teams off to a great start this year. There's no safe passage through the Big 12, one of the deepest and most competitive conferences in the country.
Including tonight, 5 of the next 6 from the state of Texas, the opposing schedule. It's a good response, though, for Dillingham coming off the road. Just a gut-wrenching loss when it looked like they had it. They were going to steal it from Starkville. Came up just short with a defensive bust, and they hold an explosive Texas State offense to only 15 points and just over 300 total yards.
Couldn't script a better response if you're Kenny Dillingham and this coaching staff for what you saw from this team. And for G.J. Kinney on the other side, he knew coming in with house money, emotional win last week, you've got plenty of opportunities still to accomplish all your dreams this season.
Well, they filtered out, but we began with a full house tonight. Arizona State's home winning streak on the strength of its crowd, now at 8, its longest in over a decade.
It's the standard they have set for this program in this building. We mentioned the community. Kenny Dillingham from here. He's an alum. He understands and believes that this place can be one of the great homes for college football in this part of the country.
Let's go down the field. Here's Coy Wire.